I'm ready to paint. I have my paper that has all the oil pastel with all pencil lines erased. I also have my own water bottle and I have my paint tray, and I will probably need a paper towel. So I'm ready to start painting, and it's important to start by getting your colors wet. It is watercolor, they start dry, and you'll need to put water on them. So we're going to be working on creating gradients or ombres in our different colors. So every space that you create in your painting should end up having more than one color to create a blend between the two color spaces. So to do that, you'll need to get some colors wet. So start by dipping your brush in the water and squeezing out the colors that you want. In this case, I'm going to be doing red and purple together in my flower petals. So I will need to get red and purple wet. And I'm going to do yellow and orange together in my center. So I'm going to do yellow and orange together wet. So I'm just getting those nice and wet. And we're going to do something called wet on wet painting today. So you're going to have your paints wet. You're going to have your brush, your water bottle here ready to go. Notice I have not yet touched the bristles of my brush to any of the paints. I've just gotten them wet. I put water in them. Now I'm ready to actually start painting, and we're going to be mixing directly on your paper. So you won't need your mixing plate. We're just going to mix on our paper. So it's going to start with getting the flower petal, the place I'm going to work in, wet. So I'm going to just dip in my water and put clean, dry water, wet water, excuse me, wet water on this petal. So I'm just going to work in this one space, and I'm going to get water into this petal. Okay. Now I'm going to get a little bit of my color. Pat, pat, kitty cat, pat, pat, paint. And I'm going to get the petal with some paint on it. I'm just going to stick to the very tip right now. Now I'm going to wash out my brush. But you'll see, because the petal was already wet, that color is sort of moving towards the center all by itself. Now I'm going to get some of that purple, and I'm going to put that on this part of the petal. And that was really, really rich. That was a lot of color. So I'm going to go ahead and get some extra water on my brush and help that spread a little bit with plenty of water. I don't want that to be too rich because it is watercolor. And I'm going to help it create an ombre in the center by sort of blending those two colors together. Now, if it's like mine where it's like really segmented, I don't really like that. I'm going to go get a little bit more red, put that on the base here, and then dip in the water without rinsing out. I'm going to repaint the red kind of there. Now I feel like that's creating a better blend. So that petal is done, and I'm going to move on to the next petal and repeat this process for each one. Make sure you start with a clean brush and that clean water when you're doing this ombre effect. I just want to tell you that this water, even though it looks like it's pretty purple, is actually still quite clear. If I dip it and I'm paint with it directly on my paper and it's still clear, I do not need to change this water even though I'm changing colors. So just so you know, it will stay quite clear for a long time unless you use a very vibrant color like maybe black. You won't need to change it. And you can just keep going because that oil will keep the colors where you put them as long as you don't cross over that barrier. When you're happy with your work, put it on the drying rack.